Eggless Chocolate Cake is going to blow your mind. It's decadent, delicious, and so easy to make. Hi, and welcome back to Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share, and comment. And if you enjoy trying out recipes that turn out right every time, you're at the right place. So go ahead, press that subscribe button. And while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll be the first to get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. For this recipe, we're going to start by prepping two 8-inch round cake pans. But if you want a taller cake, you could always double the recipe. So we're going to take one cake pan first, and I've got some melted butter here. So we're just going to brush on the melted butter all around the sides of the cake pan. Just a little at the bottom. We're going to be lining the bottom with the parchment paper. I'm going to brush the butter onto the second cake pan as well. And once again, we're going to go in brushing the sides. If you wanted, you could use baking spray and spray the pans instead of brushing the butter on them. And now once again, just a gentle brush on the bottom. Now since we're making a chocolate cake, I'm going to take some cocoa powder and dust it along the sides. Just a gentle dusting around. So turn the cake pan and dust some more here. I'm now using a tap, we're going to get an even coating all around. And now we're going to tap it down so any excess cocoa powder will automatically fall down. Now that we have coated the sides of the cake pan with the cocoa powder, let's lay down the parchment paper. We're going to put one down into this cake pan and a second one down in this cake pan. Now we're going to keep these aside and start with the recipe. While we mix up our cake, let's preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. And in this measuring cup, I've got 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which is approximately 198 grams. And into that, we're going to add 3/4 cup, which is 88 grams of cocoa powder. And I'm using a lovely dark cocoa powder here. To enhance the chocolate flavor in the cake, we're going to add 1/2 tablespoon of instant coffee powder. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt to bring out all the flavors. We're first going to whisk it together so that all the dry ingredients gets well combined. We're also looking to incorporate as much air as we can at every stage of this cake. You'll notice that cocoa powder tends to have some lumps in it, so we're going to sift the dry ingredients so that we take them out. Just going to add it into the sieve here. And once again, this is going to help us incorporate some more air into the dry ingredients. See, that's what I'm talking about. Now using our spatula, we're going to break it all down and let it go through the sieve. Now let's keep this aside and start mixing up the batter. Into our mixing bowl, we're going to be adding 1.5 cup, which is 300 grams of white granulated sugar. To get that lovely spongy chocolate cake, we're going to go in with 3/4 cup, which is 180 ml of vegetable oil. And you want to use one which is neutral and has no flavor. And now with our mix on a low speed, we're going to blend it together. Now that the sugar has absorbed the oil, we're going to add 1 cup of Greek yogurt. You could use any thick yogurt that you have handy. We're just going to add that in. And now let's add in 1 teaspoon of a pure vanilla extract. Now once again on a low speed, we're going to blend it together. Incorporating air at every stage while mixing this cake is going to give us that perfect crumb. Okay, now that's looking good. I've got 3/4 cup of room temperature milk in this jug. And now we're going to start adding in the dry ingredients and the milk into the rest of the batter. And we're going to start alternating between the two by beginning and ending with the dry. So we're going to divide the dry ingredients into 3 parts. So we're going to add 1/3 part first. Let's add that in. And now once again with our mix on a low speed, we're going to blend it in. Alternating between the two ingredients helps you to get a smooth batter, and at the same time you're incorporating more air into it. Now that it's almost blended, we're going to add half of the milk. And now let's blend that once again on a low speed. It's time to add in the next 1/3 cup. And now let's blend that in. And now we're going to add in the rest of the milk. And now all of the dry ingredients are left. Just going to stop the mixer here and scrape down the bowl. Scrape down the sides and the bottom. Now let's give it a last whisk. And once you have a smooth batter, it's time to divide it equally between your two prepped cake pans. Okay, I've taken out my weighing scale to make sure that both are of equal weight. So we're going to first put it into one. You could even just eyeball it if you wanted. Okay, I'm going to put some into the other one. Just going to use my spatula and spread it out evenly. You want to be very gentle when doing this. You don't want to take out any of that air that we have incorporated. You want to get the layers as even as we can. Now we're going to give a little tap, tap, tap to take out any of those air pockets that may be trapped inside. And a little shake, shake, shake. Now let's pop these into our oven, which we have preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, and we're going to bake them for approximately 30 to 35 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Now we're going to allow our cakes to cool, and in the meantime, let's quickly whip up our ganache frosting. Now for our ganache filling, we're going to be using 3 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And now to that we're going to add 1.5 cup of heavy cream, and we're using one that has 35% fat content in it. So for the ganache we're going in with a 2:1 ratio. 2 parts of the chocolate, 1 part of the heavy cream. And that's 1/2 cup. Now we're going to go over to the stove and bring this to a simmer. And as soon as the cream begins to simmer, we're going to take it off the heat, give it one swirl, put it back on the heat just for about a second, and take that hot cream and pour it over the chocolate chips. Now for an added shine, we're going to toss in 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. And to contain the heat, we're going to cover it with a kitchen towel and allow it to rest for about 5 minutes so that the chocolate chips get a chance to soften. Now using our spatula, we're just going to work the cream into the chocolate chips. Wow, all the chocolate chips have melted. And we are looking to get a lovely smooth ganache. As far as possible, we're going to avoid using a whisk because we don't want to incorporate any air into the ganache. We want just that silky smooth ganache. And once you have a silky smooth ganache, you're going to take a plastic wrap and cover the ganache, touching the plastic wrap to the top of the ganache. This is going to avoid any skin forming on the ganache. Now you could either leave it to thicken up at room temperature for about 2 hours, or you could stick it into the fridge for about 30 minutes. Now that the ganache is thickened, let's start icing the cake. I've edged the cake board with some plastic wrap, which we'll remove once we've done icing. So we're going to take one of the cakes first. Take up the parchment paper and look at that ganache. Wow, silky smooth. Now we're going to put a layer of ganache between the 2 cakes. And you can be as generous as you want. And using an offset spatula, just going to spread it out and get it all around evenly. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to give this a taste. And once you've evened it out, you're going to put the second cake on the top. And once again, we're going to put it face side down so that we get that flat surface on the top. Now we're going to put some of the ganache on the top and all around the edge of the cake. This recipe goes out with a lot of love to all my followers who have requested for an eggless chocolate cake. And if you have not subscribed already to my channel, hit on that subscribe button and show me some love. Now let's go down the sides. This ganache is so easy to work with, and it's my favorite kind of icing on a cake. It's chocolatey and rich, and it has all the goodness in it. And we're just going to level it out just a little bit. Not worrying too much whether it's all perfect. That's pretty cool. And we're going to finish off the top by just bringing it in. And now we're going to decorate the top with a few chocolate sprinkles. You could put some nuts also if you wanted, or anything that you like. If you make some extra ganache, you could even pipe on some swirls on the top. And now we're going to take off that cling wrap that we had put underneath. Oh my goodness! Look at that! And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's give the chocolate cake a taste. Wow, I'm really excited. This looks so good. Love that chocolate, the ganache, and the crumb of this cake is absolutely amazing. Wow. Wow, this cake just melts in your mouth. I hope you give this recipe a try. So hop onto my website, platingitwithwendy.com, or you can hit on the link in the description box below for the full written recipe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.